The so-called SM management dispute. In terms of the current situation, the SM management team and Kakao, along with Align Partners, who have emerged with the support of small shareholders, are on the same team. It appears that the founder of SM, Lee Soo-man, and HYBE have combined to respond to the situation. First, we need to understand why this fight happened in the first place. It all began 13 years ago, in 2010. Lee Soo-man, the founder of SM, left the company and established a personal company called Like Holdings. However, there was controversy about whether he completely withdrew from management. SM's money has been transferred to Like Holdings, sometimes exceeding hundreds of billions of won each year. Even in 2020, SM suffered a deficit of about 80 billion won. But on the contrary, 12 billion won was paid to Like Holdings. As a result, shareholders will become upset and start to complain. When this happens, the activist fund Align Partners takes the lead. They begin to pressure the management by carrying the support of small shareholders on their backs. Within the company, there are also voices of criticism, saying, "Isn't Lee Soo-man going too far?" However, there are not many people who think that such a governance structure in SM can be easily changed, due to the fact that the co-CEOs of SM have close ties with Lee Soo-man. One of them is Lee Soo-man's nephew, and the other is a former SM manager who worked for the company for 20 years. But here an unexpected incident occurs. The management team, who seem to have been permanently on Lee Soo-man's side, announces their departure from Like Holdings. They also declared the establishment of SM 3.0, which excludes Lee Soo-man. They expelled the founder, carrying on their shoulders the internal criticism and the opinions of small shareholders. Nevertheless, since Lee Soo-man is still the major shareholder, how was this possible? In this situation, Kakao emerged as an ally of the current management and Align Partners. By purchasing SM's 9.05% stake for 90,000 won per share, they became the second largest shareholder. At that time, Kakao invested 217.2 billion won for the purchase. Furthermore, Kakao Entertainment is in the process of receiving an investment of approximately 120 billion won from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. If they use some of this money to purchase SM shares, it will only be a matter of time before they become the majority shareholder. The tide of the real estate market has started to turn. The mid-level employees at SM, who have a long history with Lee Soo-man, have resisted the changes. Kim Min-jong and composer Yoo Young-jin have posted criticism of the current management. Lee Soo-man also filed an injunction with the court, stating that Kakao's convertible bonds issuance during the management dispute was in violation of the law. However, Lee Soo-man was unable to change the unfriendly atmosphere within SM. Just when it seemed like the situation was coming to a close, a twist occurred. Lee Soo-man handed over a staggering 14.8% of his 18.4% stake in his own home to rival company HYBE. As part of this deal, HYBE publicly announced that they would also acquire 25% of SM shares at 120,000 won per share. HYBE offered to purchase the shares at a price that was 30,000 won more expensive than the amount paid by Kakao. If the public tender offer is successful, HYBE's ownership stake in SM would increase to nearly 40%. When combined with the ownership stake of Lee Soo-man's children, this would result in an overwhelming controlling stake of 43.45%. This would immediately reverse the power dynamic once again. So, what will happen in the future? If the court accepts Lee Soo-man's injunction request, which means Kakao would not be able to purchase the stocks, then it is likely that HYBE's acquisition of SM will proceed smoothly. From Kakao's perspective, it's like being caught off guard by HYBE's hijacking. On the other hand, if the court does not accept the request for an injunction, the situation becomes a bit more complicated in terms of the calculation. Kakao could use the money received from the Saudi wealth fund to buy SM stocks at a higher price than the 120,000 won per share that HYBE announced they will offer through the public tender offer. This could be a last resort for Kakao to retaliate against HYBE's hostile takeover attempt. In this case, Kakao could become the largest shareholder again. Indeed, there are divided opinions on whether Kakao will actually take such action. Some predict that Kakao, having invested 2 years in the acquisition of SM, will not back down. On the other hand, even for Kakao, it may be too much of a burden to buy shares at a price higher than 120,000 won to engage in a power struggle. So, the most important question remains, who will win? For now, the internal public opinion is leaning in favor of Kakao. A survey on the preference for control over SM's anonymous online community has been conducted, and as of the afternoon of the 13th, over 85% supported the current management and Kakao. Within SM, there are also concerns that SM will fall into Hybe's label, and analysis shows a favorable view of the current management's SM 3.0. Therefore, Hybe is hurrying to appease them. Park Ji-won, the CEO of Hybe, emphasized that they will respect the legacy of SM, guarantee independence, and ensure Lee Soo-man's non-participation in management or producing. Unlike the internal atmosphere, the stock market is expecting Hybe to win. After the news of Hybe's stock acquisition, SM's stock price rose sharply, while Kakao's stock price fell nearly 10% for 2 consecutive days. When will the conclusion of this fight be reached? It is highly likely that the decision will be made at the next shareholders' meeting. If the current management remains, Kakao will win. If replaced, Hybe will be the winner. There is now only about a month left until the shareholders' meeting.